Open Talent My Q Talent.
The flu is stirring up a fever in Kittitas County. What you can do to keep it under control.
Brewfest had downtown Ellensburg buzzing, but did it help local businesses top off their bottom line?
The Wildcats have a big man back in the middle, but will it be enough to secure a tournament spot for the Cats?
Take camera 2.
I'm Joey Race.
And I'm Lizzie Wheeler, and you're watching the January 24th edition of NewsWatch.
Take VT. Take camera 2.
The flu epidemic is sweeping across the nation as well as the globe. This year's flu season is widespread in 48 out of the 50 states, causing concern amongst the health community.
According to the CDC, the groups at the highest risk are children, pregnant women, and the elderly. Adults over the age of 65 should take serious precautions since they account for over 90% of flu-related deaths.
The seriousness of this illness is on the minds of many throughout the community. NewsWatch reporter Mike Ramirez has the tips to keep you safe this flu season.
Take BT.
You may be noticing that many of your coworkers and classmates have been calling in sick lately. This year's flu season is off to an early start, spreading from coast to coast about 2 months earlier than normal. But the most troublesome fact about this year's flu virus is that more people are dying from it. The CDC announced that the mortality rate is now at 8.3%, officially making it an epidemic. But you shouldn't panic. Although this virus can be serious, the best thing you can take is precautions.
One of the best ways to help protect yourself from contracting the flu is by frequently washing your hands with soap and water. But if a sink isn't available, it's always helpful to carry a nice bottle of hand sanitizer with you.
The most effective way for preventing the flu is getting vaccinated. The flu shot has been around for years, but if you're not a fan of needles, the vaccine now comes in a nasal spray.
The nasal vaccine is live vaccine, and the flu shot is not a live vaccine. So the live vaccine tends to be more effective quicker than the flu shot, but other than that, they're equally effective.
Symptoms of the flu include a temperature over 100 degrees, chills, fatigue, body aches, and more. But if you think you have the flu, it's best to take action as early as possible.
If somebody thinks that they have the flu again, make sure and stay home, get lots of rest. You can contact your healthcare provider. If it's early during flu onset, sometimes they can give you antivirals to kind of reduce the severity of your symptoms and reduce the length of illness.
Although the flu is on the rise, following these steps will help keep you protected during this year's flu season. Here on the CWU campus, I'm Mike Ramirez reporting for NewsWatch.
Take camera 3.
If you still need your flu shot, the Kittitas County Public Health Department will provide flu and whooping cough vaccinations this Friday, January 25th. All vaccinations for children will be free, and adults can get their flu shots for only $30. You can get your vaccinations this Friday from 5 until 8 p.m., then catch a great Bulldogs game at the Ellensburg High School.
Take camera 2. Sorry.
Students looking for a degree are flocking to computers and clicking on Central Washington.
Ready camera 2.
The number of students majoring in programs offered in completely online jumped this year. Last year, there were just over 160 online majors. This year, nearly 600 students are earning their degrees online. Central now has more online students than any other comprehensive university in the state.
Take camera 2. Ready BT.
Beer drinkers had something to celebrate in Ellensburg. Up next, we'll take you to Brewfest.
And we learned the true meaning behind Martin Luther King Day. NewsWatch will be right back.
Take BT, kill talent Mike. Ready camera 2.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. you'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Take camera 2.
Martin Luther King can be described in many ways. He was a minister, an activist, and a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but he's best known for his use of nonviolent civil disobedience during the fight for civil rights in the 60s.
An assassin ended King's life in 1968. In the mid-80s, Martin Luther King Day was established. For high school students, Martin Luther King is a historical figure and a reason to take a day off from school. But at Ellensburg High, King's message of peace and tolerance is still relevant today.
Take VT. Ready, camera 3.
The theme of the Ellensburg High School's Martin Luther King Jr. Assembly was "Take a walk in someone else's shoes." Students acted out some of the most difficult stereotypes that teens face today, such as race, religious beliefs, and social status. The high schoolers also read original poems, sang songs, and gave a history of Martin Luther King Jr. and the struggles he faced during his lifetime. And it was the students who made this assembly happen, said the activities coordinator and ASB advisor, Heather Burfind.
They come up with a theme, they come up with a message, they come up with a plan. I do a lot of behind-the-scenes directing, suggesting.
And it all came together to communicate several serious topics to students.
Take camera 2.
Coming up later in our newscast, we'll talk with another group who taught Dr. King's message to a much younger group of children.
Take camera 1. Ready, VT.
Downtown Ellensburg came alive as hundreds of people hoisted their mugs for Brewfest.
Take VT.
Ellensburg. Ellensburg hosts the annual festival held every third Saturday in January. It's clear the beer drinkers were happy.
January is typically a slow month here in Ellensburg, not very many tourists. And so it's a great way to get people downtown Ellensburg, get maybe people that haven't been to Ellensburg before to see the downtown, see what we have to offer.
All right, let's keep talking.
Brewfest features beers from all over the Northwest. There's a beer for everyone's personal taste, unless you are the guy serving this beer.
All right, stop.
And so I couldn't tell you.
Camera 2. Camera 2.
This is the 9th year for Brewfest, and it is becoming one of the most popular festivals in Ellensburg. The $30 tickets were all sold out by the first week in January.
Take camera 2. Keep talking, keep talking.
What's more important to you, your firstborn child or the
All right, ready,
Sonics
VT.
moving back to Seattle? We'll have one fan's surprising answer.
And gray skies are going to clear up, or at least that's what the forecast says. Your 5-day forecast coming up next on NewsWatch.
Take VT. Close talent mics.
I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro?
Yeah, we're coming in on camera 1.
Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where the ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get fired.
Take camera 1. Open mic, cue talent.
Welcome back to
camera
NewsWatch.
2.
Over the past few days, it's been foggy, especially driving over the passes.
What I remember about this week's weather is just gray, hazy skies. Nina Lucasen tells us what lies ahead.
Take camera 2.
We can thank a high-pressure system for all that fog and haze. That high pressure just moved in and parked. And when the high pressure stays in one place, the air becomes stagnant. There's a new system starting to push the air pressure out, so we may see some breaks in the sky soon. Today in Kittitas Valley, temperatures pushed up to the mid-30s. Still chilly, but not as cold as the mid-20s we shivered through this evening. The weak system that's pushing the high pressures out will bring with it some wind and rain or snow, which should scrub out the air. East side of the Cascades, expect the wind to pick up a bit this week. This new system will increase our chances for snow, but don't expect a bunch of white stuff. Daytime highs will reach into the upper 30s and low 40s. Nighttime lows dipping right back down around the freezing mark. On the west side, expect more wind and rain. Typical weather for this time of year, highs will be in the mid-40s with lows in the mid to upper 30s. Getting over the passes shouldn't be a problem. You may run into periods of snow, but not in heavy amounts. Here in Kittitas Valley, look for increased wind speeds that will help scour all the stagnant air out of the valley. With that wind, we'll get an increased chance of rain and snow. For most of us, that will mean we'll have to sweep the snow off of our car in the morning. That pattern is expected to continue throughout next week. Our daytime highs will stay in the mid to upper 30s with night lows around 20s. So there is a possibility of a few sun breaks this week, but they will be far and few in between. That wraps up this week's weather forecast. Up next, Wildcat athletes get honors for something they did off of the court.
Take BT, Kill Talent Mike.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Camera below. Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
Yes, we're going straight
First,
to
you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Camera 2, Key Talent.
Right now, Central's Wildcats are 5th in the conference. After the game against Northwest Nazarene this Saturday, the Cats fly north to Alaska. There, a couple of wins could push them up to 3rd place. In a conference that includes nationally ranked rivals like Western and Seattle Pacific, the Cats aren't focused on winning the conference, but during this week's practice, they did focus on making it to the West Regionals.
Take BT.
Well, we lost a lot of close games so far. The Western Oregon, Western Washington kind of sticks out in my mind. Also the Azusa Pacific, but we've added Kevin Davis, our center from last year, which will allow us to pick it up on the defensive end. But this tough GNAC conference is, from top to bottom, is very solid. Northwest Nazarene's a good team. They got a lot of new faces, but they got a lot of transfers in. They're a lot more athletic than they've been in the past. They shoot the ball extremely well. I think the thing is they play so hard, and you got to match their intensity. They'll junk up the defenses on you and stuff like that, so you just got to play your normal game. It's going to be a huge challenge to win in the conference right now because Western's so far ahead of everybody else. I think the big thing is you want to get in the top, 2 or 3 and go into the conference tournament and play your way in there. But, you can get hot right now and win out. I'd probably still not catch Western, but you'd have a good chance of getting into the West Regionals.
Take Camera 2.
You can watch Central take on the Northwest Nazarene Crusaders this Saturday at Nicholson Pavilion. Game starts at 7:30. By the way, Central and Western are the top 2 scoring offenses in the GNAC. You have the itch to go boarding, but don't have the wheels to get there? Well, Central's Outdoor Pursuits and Rentals has an answer. OPR shuttle buses leave Central's campus every Tuesday and Wednesday at 3. The ride only costs $8 per person. The OPR has another deal, the 6-pack. Just grab 5 friends with $8 each, and the bus will take your group to one of 4 different pass destinations. You do have to give OPR 2 days of notice if you're planning on a group shuttle. The shuttle prices don't include the cost of lift tickets, but OPR can hook you up with some discount tickets. Go to cwu.edu/OPR for more information on all these deals. You may even want to check into setting up a custom ski trip.
Take Camera 2.
Who said jocks are dumb? GNAC awarded 12 Central students the first Scholar Athlete Award. The award recognizes student athletes who earn a grade point average of 3.85 or higher. 5 Central track and field members, 2 basketball, 2 soccer, and 1 athlete from each volleyball, baseball, and football won the award. The sale is done. That's right. The Sonics are coming home. Well, at least we think. This Monday, the announcement came that the Seattle group of investors, led by Chris Hansen and Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer, had reached an agreement with the Maloof brothers. That's got Sonics fans cheering.
Love it, absolutely love it, because I grew up taking the Metro down and watching the Sonics back when you had your ASB card and you showed it, you got a $5 ticket, got in. I think it's huge for the city. You know, the Sonics are a trademark of Seattle. I think, you know, they've been around, they won the championship one year, but I just think it brings a lot of excitement to the town.
I'm really excited. You know, it's good to have basketball back in Seattle. Seattle's one of the best places for basketball, and I mean, personally, I'm a Lakers fan, so it'll be a lot more fun for me to see the Lakers up close in action.
You know, I've said it once, I'll say it again. It's better than my first child being born. You know, they're coming back home where they need to be. Give us our team back.
Take camera 2.
Don't give up on your firstborn yet. Though the sale is complete, it still must be approved in April by the NBA Board of Governors. Sacramento Mayor and former NBA player Kevin Johnson is attempting to put an ownership group together to counteroffer and keep the team in Sacramento.
Take camera 1.
Say, Sean, do you think the Sonics are coming home?
Take camera 2.
Joey, once I see this jersey hanging back in the Raptors, I'll know they're home.
Take camera 1. Ready, BT.
Did you resolve to lose weight, travel more, or save money this year? We check in to see how some people are keeping or not keeping their New Year's resolutions.
And a local group brings the lessons of Martin Luther King to some elementary students. We'll find out what they learned next on NewsWatch.
Take VT, kill talent Mike. Camera 1, I want
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Okay, we still have about a minute till we start. Coming in on camera.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 88. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Take camera 1, open talent cue Mike.
Martin Luther King Jr. is known for bringing people together and for making great changes to our nation. For a lot of people, though, Martin Luther King Day is just a day off from work or school. With the help of volunteers and educators, the true meaning of Martin Luther King Day is passed on. Today we have a member from the Center for Leadership and Community Engagement, Amber Plotke. She's worked to share Martin Luther King's legacy with the Ellensburg community. Thank you for joining us today, Amber.
Thank you for having me.
So I'd like to start by asking you, what does Martin Luther King Day mean to you?
To me, it's a reminder to be thankful for what I have and the opportunities that are presented to me, because back when Martin Luther King was alive, not all of these opportunities were around. And it's also a reminder to stand up for what I believe in.
Awesome, that's great. So I understand we have some images of the events that you did with Mount Stewart students. How did they react to your event?
They loved it. It was really exciting. They came in all smiles and happy, because you remember field trips back when you were little. It's always exciting to go somewhere new. At first we had the second graders come in and they went through 3 rotations and they loved it. They got to make posters and write about Martin Luther King and also look through respectacles. They were little glasses we made for them so they could see different scenarios.
Cool. So were a lot of the students already aware of who Martin Luther King Jr. was?
The second graders not so much, but some of the fifth graders understood who he was and that he stood for equality and freedom.
Awesome. So I understand this event was intended to teach children about Martin Luther King Jr., but did you or other volunteers learn anything new?
I did. I learned that Martin Luther King's wife, Coretta, I believe her name is, she was a singer, and I didn't know that about her. And also, Martin Luther King went to 3 different colleges, which I thought was kind of interesting because as I'm struggling through where I was going to go to college, he also had that struggle.
Cool. So why do you think it's important to teach a younger generation about Martin Luther King?
Because of all that he's done. It's not just a day off of school, like you said. It is a day to remember and be thankful for what you have and to have perspective about what life was like for them back in the day and understand that we can go to school and not be segregated depending on your race.
Yeah, and it's good to make sure that history just doesn't repeat itself. That
exactly.
We learn. Awesome. So what do you guys plan for next year? Do you have any bigger plans?
Yes, next year our supervisor wants to get more grade levels to come down. This year we had the 5th and 2nd graders come at 2 separate times, and next year she wants 2nd and 3rd graders to come, and then later in the afternoon 4th and 5th graders from Mount Stewart.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So I understand the Center for Leadership and Community Engagement does things year-round. What do you guys have next on your agenda?
We have Unheard Voices coming up, which if any CW students are interested in showing their talent to support the Wounded Warrior Project, they'll come and sing or dance or whatever they like to do, and then we'll be having raffles going off the whole night to raise money for them. And then we have a human trafficking forum coming up to explain to CW students in the community what human trafficking is and how to prevent it from continuing to happen.
Awesome. So do you guys have a website that we can contact you at?
Yes, it's takeactioncw.com, and all of our events are posted up there and updated.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with us today, Amber. Have you kept your New Year's resolution? That's the question we asked. You'll hear the answers next.
Ready, BT? Take BT. Sorry.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
On camera 1. We have 1 minute.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
We're about to wrap up our first newscast of the quarter, but we'll be back next week. Here's some of the stories we're working on. Most of us have recovered from the sting of the Seahawks losing to the Falcons. So it's the 49ers and the Ravens in the Super Bowl. We'll find out how some folks will be watching the big game. It's a big basketball weekend for Central. We'll have some highlights of the games and figure out what is going on to beat Western. Look for these stories next week on NewsWatch.
Take camera 3, camera 1, I need you to back up.
It's been nearly a month since we welcomed in the new year. And as sincere as we are about keeping our New Year's resolutions, sometimes that commitment fades after a few weeks. So, we asked folks around town how committed they still are to their resolutions.
Take VT.
The biggest thing is try to spend more time with my family, because basketball really takes a lot of time away from us. We're on the road so much, but you know, my kids are getting older. I want to spend a lot more time with them, but I got to get a good balance between basketball and family.
Try and save a little bit more money. I tend to be one who blows all his money hasn't started off too well, unfortunately.
You know, I'm just trying to drink less, party a little bit more. I'm doing that already.
Take camera 2, cue talent.
So, Joey, did you make any resolutions this year?
Just to go out and catch some more Wildcat basketball games. That's a good thing. How about you?
That's a good one. Not really. I try to stay fit, stay in shape, but
All right, ready the VT.
sometimes that doesn't always last. So.
Yeah.
We're going on, ready to camera
Well, that wraps up our newscast for this evening. Make sure to join us for a new edition of NewsWatch Thursday.
Until then, tell us when you have a news tip or a story idea. Just email us at newswatch@cwu.edu.
You can also follow us on Twitter by searching NewsWatch CW. To find us on Facebook, search CW NewsWatch.
For all of us at NewsWatch, good night.
Night.
Roll VT, sound up. Take camera 1. Okay. And should we just fade to black? Yep. Okay, take BT. Okay. Yeah, take BT.
Hanging out a little bit more.
Sorry.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.